Based in Provo. We're going to talk about a topic, Holy Toledo. You're an employer, now what? So this is the entrepreneur's dilemma. You have a great idea, you have a great product, a great service, and all your problems start when you hire your first employee. You got to figure out how to pay him. How do I hire him? What kinds of questions can I ask him? What about an employee that runs into problems? How about discipline and corrective action? I got to fire somebody. How do I fire somebody without running into all kinds of problems? How do I provide benefits to my employees so I can compete with my competition to get good people? And these are all the reasons you went into business, right? Now, you went into business to market your product, to sell your service, to make money, to create wealth, whatever you did. Do you ever feel like this as an employer? Too bad the picture's not clear. A kid flying off a bike, and everybody's watching, saying the guy's going to hit the ground. You see all these acronyms: EEOC, FLSA, FMLA. Confusing for someone who's really good at developing software, running a call center, or manufacturing a product. Well, the load is big for employers. Maybe you need to get some help. One guy calling, huge load there. So remember the classic Atari game Pitfall? Being an employer is kind of like that. All these crocodiles, alligators, monsters want to jump out and eat you, and you don't even know what it is. I wish we could combine the earlier presentation on usability with human resources. It just doesn't work that well. Pitfall number one: exempt versus non-exempt employee. An exempt employee are typically your professionals, your supervisors, your administrators, and the executives of your company. Non-exempt are your hourly people. So you've ever heard this? Well, let's move all of our managers to salary so we don't have to pay overtime. Great idea. We can work them like dogs. And then say, hey, wait a minute. Why don't we just do the next one, which is let's convert everybody to exempt. Move them all to salary so we don't have to pay any overtime. Now, if you think this is an imaginary scenario, you're wrong. I've heard this. I wish I could say it hadn't been from any of my clients, but I've heard this before. Hey, if we just take our executive assistant and move her to salary, she can work 60 hours a week, run the trade show, do weekends. It doesn't work that way. Pitfall number two: discrimination. There's so many ways that you can fall into problems with discriminations. It could be gender, racial, national origin. You ever heard somebody say this to you? Hey, you can't do that. That's discrimination. I heard this from a young woman with 5 piercings and neck tattoos. And the person said, we're running a medical office. We really can't have you displaying all of your piercings and tattoos. Well, that's okay. But how about some of these? Can you discriminate as an employer against a pregnant employee? Yes or no?
Yes.
Not because she's pregnant. Not because she's pregnant. How about male, 35, white?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. How about a 23-year-old with tattoos and piercings? Yeah, more than likely. Pitfall number 3: independent contractor versus regular employee. Huge one. Obama administration is pouring hundreds of thousands of dollars into enforcing this. How about this? You ever heard this? Hey, if we just 1099 them, hey, we can save a bunch of money on taxes. You hear this all the time. It's going to get you in trouble. There's very, very clear rules about what constitutes an employee. If you have any control over them and control over their work, provide their supplies, provide their place of work. So what happens then when the 1099 employee gets terminated? You heard the term 1099 employee? That's a misnomer. And the spouse says, hey, file for unemployment benefits. Sorry, not an employee, no unemployment. Investigation of what's going on. Pitfall number 4: harassment. Here's a very common one. Small company here in Utah almost went out of business because someone discriminated against an employee. My manager just asked me out for the 3rd time. It's kind of creeping me out. I think this was a direct quote from an investigation I did not long ago. That's a problem. Managers, don't date your employees. That's a pretty clear rule. How about this one? You can almost hire some better-looking managers. Especially if they wear short skirts. Actually, I've heard that one too. That could be a problem in the problems. Can't see this one. The guy at the bull run He jumps off into the water, but guess where the bull jumps? Right in the water after him. Ever feel like this is an employer? Hard to keep up with the changes, and the penalties can be pretty severe. Fines, penalties, loss of reputation, loss of key employees, and potentially loss of your business by not paying attention to these HR pitfalls. So we're Employer Solutions Group. We do outsourced HR for small and medium-sized companies, a few large companies. That's me in the dunk tank. Thanks, John. Taking the picture, that was last week. We help you reduce your HR costs, minimize those administrative burdens, take the hassle out of payroll, and navigate those choppy waters. So, thank you.